stand with me, please, and say the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honey. Here. Leach. Here. Thompson. Here. Young. Here. Zimmerman. Here. Lambert. Here.
Okay, next thing is public comments and questions. In light of last week, I want to lay down a few ground rules before we start. A couple things. The comments and questions section of this meeting is for the members of the audience to be able to address the board on district and board issues. So I'd like to keep it to that and try to refrain from talking to any other members of the audience back and forth. Positive, negative, I don't care if you clap, if you're happy you heard something, that's fine. But just let's try to keep it halfway positive and not get into any kind of attacking mode. On that line, we're not going to tolerate personal attacks. If there's something you don't agree with that we've done, we want to hear about it, that's fine. But personal attack-wise, this isn't the venue for it. See. Oh, depending on your questions. First off, if you have a question or a comment, and you stand up when I call you, please let me know if you have a comment or a question. If you have a question, we want to make sure that we're getting back to you with an answer that you're looking for as far as what you're looking for. We don't want to get words wrong. We don't want to get anything wrong as far as what you're looking for, because we want to do it right the first time. And with that, depending on the question, some questions are easy yes or no answers that we might answer right then and there. Others may take a little bit of research depending on what they pertain to, but we will get back to you on. So with that being said, we only have 3 people that filled out forms, so we'll go roughly 3 minutes apiece. I'll let you know when you start getting close. It doesn't sound like you're wrapping up. First, Kimmy Lee from the department.
Hi, my name is Kenny Lee, and I wanted to address you guys about the issue. My daughter is in the 3rd, 4th grade split class. And my concern is they're not being taught as 4th graders. They're being taught as 3rd graders. They've come home with handouts for 3rd graders. The newsletter went out as 3rd grade only. One boy in the class did an entire page in class, and she goes, oh, you got the wrong one. You got 3rd grade, not 4th grade. There's only 9 4th graders in this room. It's not a split class. The message you're sending is there's 9 kids you didn't have room for, and you shoved them in a room. I've also dealt with, every day my daughter comes home to tell me about some violence in the room. There's a boy in there who's thrown scissors. The other day he twisted a kid's arm so bad it took 2 adults to pull him off of him. Every day I live in fear that she's going to get hurt in this room. It's not fair to the teacher that not only is this a split class, but you have a boy in there that you know has problems. It's not fair to that teacher. It's not fair to any of those kids. They're all being robbed of their education. The other question I have is for you, Dr. Baxter. I gave you paperwork on the AAA Cross and Guard program or the safety program 25 days ago. What are you doing about it? It's been 25 days of these kids going back and forth to school when you said, oh, we were going to wait and see what happens. So what's going on with that program? I even printed it all off and gave it to you. So where does it stand?
As Rick said, I'll get back to you. So I'll send you a letter.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
George Madursky from Winthrop.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity to speak. A couple of things I wanted to say. I think there's been some of the issues we faced. There's been a little bit of sort of a group think where there's one group against another group sort of idea. And I just wanted to say that while there are factions, we are all individuals and we don't agree on everything. There seems to be perception of were it not for Dee to be elected, none of this would have happened. And I just want to say that people don't vote for the person they support. they vote for the person who supports them in terms of their views. I didn't vote for Dee because I agreed with her. I voted for her because she agreed with me. Having said that, that doesn't mean I agree with everything. For instance, Dee and I have discussed, we've agreed, disagreed. The cell phone issue, that to me is a non-issue. If I'm not concerned about the cell phones, if they have cell phones, they're decision makers, I don't really understand what's the problem. And if there's a family plan and they reimburse the district, I'm fine with that. However, as a group, where we meet, we agree on the big things. We agree on the fundamental changes that need to be made. So on that, we agree. And that's what we voted for. And there seems to be an idea that, well, I've lived here so long and you haven't lived here that long. I don't care if you've lived here since the Ice Age, to tell you the truth. It doesn't matter. What matters is going forward. I was talking with a neighbor of mine who's lifelong, went to grade school here, been here forever. And he was saying something, he was upset with Dee actually. He was just saying about how he wished he could write letters and worrying about the attorneys and the buses and that kind of stuff. And I told him, I said, there's a lot more to it than that. And what I did was I took the Excel spreadsheet, and he said something, well, the teachers in Winthrop Harbor, I think he guessed they made about $30,000 a year or something, okay? He was back in the old Winthrop Harbor, not the new Winthrop Harbor. When I read him the Excel spreadsheet of the top 20 or so people in this district, his eyes got wide, and then he realized that things have changed. Education's changed, burdens on teachers have changed, pay scales have changed. So I strongly urge everybody to be proud of the fact that you're here forever, that you were born here, but realize this is about the future, not about how school was when you were in school. Thank you.
Yeah. Scrum.
Members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to address you this evening. At the risk of repeating myself, but I'm going to do it anyway. At the first school board meeting I attended, you probably remember, I asked that the board focus their efforts on improving the education system and focus on the needs of the kids. As you all probably know, I've repeatedly been asking for a longer school day and a longer school year. I've repeatedly talked about the broad coalition that is pushing for education reform in these United States today. A movement whose main desire is to make our kids internationally competitive. Reform is on the agenda from the East Coast to the West Coast. Speeches and actions promoting reform are daily heard from President Obama, Secretary of State, Secretary of Education Annie Duncan, Mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, to name just three. You probably heard me talk about the teachers union and dearly wanting them to, as a liberal, I want them to stand up and to be the leaders in this reform. And I'm really glad to see that yesterday on MSNBC, the president of the teachers union, Randy Weingarten, came out in support of a longer school day when it is combined with the smart curriculum. So, I mean, the coalition is growing. We're all getting together here. And right now, here in Winthrop Harbor, due to the contract negotiations, there is an opportunity for our school district to catch this wave of change. There's an opportunity for us to embrace a new paradigm by making our schools leaders in reform, by allowing our great teachers to teach more, by teaching just a little longer. We could make Winthrop Harbor a really desirable location for parents who are looking to situate their kids in a premier education system. We can boost enrollment in our schools. We can boost
property prices due to increased demand, and our citizenry would be much more likely to embrace financially a system that is enhancing the local economy and putting our town on the map. Members of the board, members of the negotiating committee,
I got it real good here.
yeah, I ask you to please catch this wave, to embrace this new paradigm for the sake of our kids and for the good of our town. Thank you very much.
Anything else? Anybody? Okay, at this time, we're going to close the floor for public comments and questions and move on to the next item on our agenda. We've got 3 presentations here. First one is a donation from the Lions Club.
Can somebody come up and we'll get get a picture, so we'll send it to the paper. The paper was going to be here, but they're not. So we'll Yep, good. You got a camera?
Yes.
I didn't see it. Good. Never mind. Jenny, they've already sent them, and they're in the classrooms in Westfield, right? But we'll still take, appreciate very much the donation. Yep, there we go. We got a couple pictures. For everybody here, there were 7 of these devices, and the devices really look like they look like those wave radios. So real nice sound system, and then a mechanism that the teachers wear around their neck when they're teaching, and it increases the likelihood that all of the children, whether those in front or in back, are able to hear what's going on. And it also, in Westfield, we have furnaces in the back of the room. So there's the hum noise that goes in the winter, right, spring and fall, because of the furnace noise. Well, these kind of block that out, take care of it, and make it so all of the children are likely to hear. A lot of schools today that are being built are built with surround sound at all levels, so that the students are much more likely to be able to hear what's going on. And so you guys, the Lions contributed 7 of those for us to be able to get